Cars on track, session has begun. In this one, Palou, Power, Armstrong, Rasmussen, Rossi, Ferrucci, and Simpson, Collette, Lundgaard, Dixon, Siegel, and Rahal. We're back at Barber Motorsports Park. The drivers in this first part of qualifying. On the left-hand side of your screen, amongst them, four-time champion Alex Palou, fastest in second practice this morning. Also amongst their number, Will Power. Such a rich history on this circuit, and of course in qualifying, the fastest driver this championship has ever known. More pole positions than any driver in history. And what about Scott Dixon? Has never won on this track, but it is his best average finishing position circuit of any on the calendar.
Crazy to think, 9 podiums here in 15 visits, 6 of them second place finishes. Never been able to get to the top step, certainly not through lack of trying or effort from himself and the 9 crew. And this guy here, he's been on the podium here as well, has had podiums already this season. It's off to a strong start, and the entire McLaren squad's been very competitive. Him and Pato O'Ward have both been right up there in both practice sessions. Team's feeling good. Spoke to Pato yesterday after practice, said, yeah, the car just feels hooked up. Pato's won here before. They're looking for a strong result.
Lundgaard was complaining of upshift issue in practice earlier. I hear nothing to suggest that that issue lingers. As you said, James, they look very happy. Graham Rahal showing some nice pace in practice as well. This is a track historically where they've had some pretty solid success. Couple podiums previously here for Graham, going a few years back. He was P6 overall on practice times.
Now, both practice sessions over the course of a race weekend here on road courses, 40 minutes, then split into 2 shorter sections. With this morning's crash for Scott McLaughlin, the full 40-minute session didn't run to conclusion, and we didn't get either of those shortened 12-minute sessions. How much will that affect the drivers coming into this session, that lack of knowledge and track time, with the temperatures being just that little bit lower than they were yesterday?
Well, for a guy like Santino Ferrucci, you know, typically as a 2-car team, you rely on your teammates' data as well. And I need to correct what I said earlier yesterday, which is that Santino Ferrucci's team, AJ Foyt Racing, does continue its Team Penske technical partnership. I thought that that had concluded with David Malukas leaving the team and joining Team Penske, but team officials corrected me, say, no, we absolutely have the same program. We don't have a race engineer from Team Penske, but we still have somebody working in the damper department, and we are still sharing information. That's huge in an abbreviated practice session where Ferrucci is able to lean on the counterparts there at Team Penske and study all of that information. 5 drivers in total contributing.
As we take a look at Will Power, I'm hearing he's had a little trip off the circuit already in this session. This is down
turn 1. So you see all 4 wheels onto that curbing and then just caught the grass at the end. So easy to do, and sometimes that can throw you off on the exit of turn 2 as well. But manages to keep it going. These are just the banker laps. A lot of teams start just on that harder black sidewall tire. On board here now, this is where McLaughlin had that phenomenal accident earlier today. He just bottoms out again. We saw this in practice, T-Bell. This car running very, very low, but there are limits to that.
Too much apex curb, I think, there with the left front. So for McLaughlin, it was dropping the right front off track. This case for Will Power, left front. Let's see how he does this lap with a full 17 turns of tire pressure and temp. He stays cautiously wide there, but you can still hear that car bottoming. We talked about that in the earlier practice.
A few drivers deciding to start on that soft compound, the red sidewall tire. That's Rossi, Rasmussen, Kippen Simpson, and Scott Dixon, which is a big surprise.
Oh, but he's into the wall.
Wow.
A big one for Will Power.
Oh, yeah.
It's over in turn 5 where we've seen Will struggle a bit on the brakes.
But no, to get that far to the barrier that quickly, that smells like a failure of some kind to me.
Or did he drop tires like what we saw out of McLaughlin in the approach to the brake zone? We'll have to see, but most critically, AMR safety team right there. Now, different than the McLaughlin crash, This was a sudden arrest of speed. As you can see, the Armco's bent back behind the tire stack, but luckily Power climbing out under his own power. Let's watch those right sides.
No, he's just...
It's fine.
Yeah.
That looks like a stuck throttle.
Something like that. Either rear brakes didn't go. You saw both fronts locked up there smoking. If we get the onboard again, yeah, it does look... Oh, he is just going so quick.
Let's listen.
A big brake failure. Copy that, are you all right?
Oh, goodness me.
The
Horrible.
worst feeling in the world. Looking at the wall coming towards you at 100 miles an hour, knowing there's nothing you can do to stop from hitting it.
Couldn't tell if he was still having drive from the rear axle or just no brakes. You see the both fronts are locked up, so we know the caliper is there. You see nothing happening at the rear of the car in terms of slowing down. The rear tire is still spinning, so as hard as he has his foot buried, there is nothing going on for rear brake bite.
And the thing for me, I mean, you heard on the audio, it's not like the engine note stayed high, and when he hits the wall, you hear the engine rev up. That's because the driver's foot in the impact flies forward and smashes the throttle briefly. So to me, it sounds like it wasn't an engine issue, it wasn't a drive issue, it was just maybe a rear brake issue.
Terrifying, Will.
Terrifying for the driver. The worst possible eventuality. Brake failure. And Will Power's search for a 72nd pole goes on, but he is okay and out of the car.
First and foremost, he's okay. Just had some
feel when you have an issue like this, a failure like this, you hit that brake pedal with your left foot, you're trying to punch it as hard as you can. Just look at how much the wall gives there. That's what it's designed to do. But you hit that brake pedal and immediately everything else changes. You know that initial input didn't respond the way it was supposed to. Nothing is going to be as it's supposed to. And unfortunately, when you're coming from a higher speed part of the track into a big brakes on a low speed corner, this is the result. This is worst case scenario.
Have you ever had a ski boot de-release or release from a binding when you didn't expect it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what this feels like. You're trusting the equipment and it's just not there for you. Jack.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm Townsend. I'm not much of a snowboarder, so I'm hoping that was some skiing
Neither am I.
reference
Yeah,
or
I was
something.
a skier.
I'm honest, I'm still getting over the wax on, wax off from yesterday, but I've had brake failure a couple of times. I think James summed it up so well. There's nothing worse than knowing exactly where you're about to hit. In this case, head on. It's the most unfortunate thing that happens to a team because it also zaps a lot of their confidence too, which is another factor in all of this.
Yeah, something went horribly wrong to cause this to happen. We really can't speculate at this point what might have led to it. But you don't recover from that instantly. It's a big loss of confidence.
Car of Will Power is taken away from the scene of a massive impact here in the early part of qualifying. A brake failure has launched the 26 Andretti Honda into the barrier. Will Power has extricated himself and walked away from the scene. A difficult start to the 2026 season for him. Another view of this crash from overhead. This is the moment where he realized the car was not going to be slowing down. And Hinch, we've been talking about this a little bit, and we will talk about this when we come back. But that immediate moment of fear and realization that you're not coming out of this in a good way. Will Power out of qualifying. Well, while that was happening, Caio Collet jumped to the top of the times, ahead of Rasmussen, Palou, Rossi, Ferrucci, and Simpson. A long way of the session left to go, just under 6 minutes when we go back to green.
But this does create a sense of urgency now for the teams and drivers. Anybody that started out there on the hards, you're going to immediately head out on the softs, going to try to get that quali lap in. It's going to be frantic. You're going to have trouble finding that clean bit of racetrack. You only have half as many cars on track in qualifying as you do in practice, but even still, with only 12 cars, it's sometimes such a struggle to find the gap you want.
And if you're Andretti drivers Marcus Ericsson and Kyle Kirkwood going in Group 2, you are hoping that this race car quickly gets back to your team so they can assess what exactly led to this problem. Is it systemic, something that could happen across all of our cars? Is it going to be unique to Will Power? That's something I'd be wondering if I'm the teammate sitting on pit lane waiting to fire off for my qualifying run.
And it's just so tough. You know, you've just come off your best result of the season, your first podium with the team at Arlington, and you're kind of hoping that you've turned that corner. You know, after issues at St. Pete, issues at Phoenix, you saw the graphic there, multiple incidents, multiple crashes.
And a lot of them were braking related. You go back to St. Pete crash in practice 2. Braking related. Phoenix, not so much. That was something on the racetrack.
And this is ignoring the crash in the race at St. Pete,
yes,
which was in the same corner as the practice 2 crash, also on the brakes in turn 10.
It's been the story of Will Power's struggles to get acclimated has really been about braking on the road and street circuits. He said the pace is there, the team has all the resources, and I thought that it was all behind them, frankly, after the great result in the Arlington race. Will Power came here high with confidence, really excited about what was possible, and this is just really knocks you down a notch in terms of trusting your equipment.
A man to watch tomorrow in the race, starting from the back of the field. Will Power, who has won here twice. We cannot wait to be on the streets of Washington, D.C. later this year. What an event that is going to be. The Freedom 250, August 23rd, live on Fox. And we can get a little sneak peek of the track right now. Talk us around it, guys.
To see this. Yeah.
It's our first chance to see
turn
this.
1.
I mean, going by some incredible monuments, some incredible bits of history. The pits will be to the left-hand side here.
National Gallery of Art to your left side. I'll tell you what, it looks wide and smooth. Not sure what's going to happen to some of those medians there, but looks like we made another left-hander, and we're making another left. A lot of important looking buildings there. We hang a right.
It's going to hook back.
Washington Monument to your right.
Superb. I mean,
and another left. That's a great museum. I've only been to the one by the airport out by Dulles. I'm excited to go to the one in the Capitol there. And a little bit of a jog there, left, right. Where are we going now? We're going left. A lot of lefts.
A lot of lefts, but down some very cool streets, and some very cool monuments are going to be part of the backdrop there. It's going to be a scenic shoot for sure.
it certainly will be. Talking about scenic, few racetracks more beautiful than this. We'll be back for qualifying at Barber.
So coming into this season, there was a lot of talk about the rookie class, but there were two that probably got more attention than the rest, that being Mick Schumacher and Dennis Hauger. But Kyle Collette has been very impressive in his 3 starts. He would just rate it okay with St. Petersburg, Phoenix's first oval in IndyCar, but started to really break through at Arlington a couple of weeks ago. Finished 12th, and he told me yesterday that's when it started to kind of click. He's now confirming. He always thought he could do this. He has a lot of confidence. Finished second in the Indy Next Championship last year. But the 23-year-old Brazilian now feels like he's belonging and comes in with a lot of confidence. Had a good practice session this morning. He was 8th overall. The A.J. Foyt Racing team continues to make strides, and he loves permanent road courses the best. That's where he spent most of his career. So he already entered this weekend with a lot of confidence. Maybe Kyle Collette can continue to shine and make this a fight all season long for that Rookie of the Year award.
I like the look of Kyle Collette a lot. I'm really impressed with how he's approached the start of his rookie season in IndyCar. A little under the radar, but then those little pop performances stand out all the more.
Mature and under control, those are 2 terms that are not typically associated with a rookie, and that's where Kyle Collette, I think, stands out. He seems to be wise beyond his experience in this first season, doing a terrific job. And I think the story of the rookie battle is going to be one of, you know, sensation from Dennis Hauger, and maybe something a little bit more measured with Kyle Collette, and then, of course, with Mick Schumacher, still TBD.
And what's interesting is the comparison with their direct teammates. When you look at what Collette is doing in relation to Santino Ferrucci, when you look at how Hauger is doing in relation to Romain Grosjean, you know?
That's what's super impressive. Both of the rookies ahead of their teammates, respective teammates in the championship in those teams. Collette right now in 18th. Hauger up in 13th position after 3 races with Dale Coyne. That's an impressive run, especially from a rookie. We saw Rinus VeeKay so competitive with that car for a lot of last year, but that's a driver that had 6 years of IndyCar experience, whatever it was. So Hauger, I think, really kind of the standout of the group so far.
Talked to Mitch Davis, team manager over there at Dale Coyne Racing, just a couple hours ago, and he said our mentality is just keep it simple for these guys. They've done that, and they're delivering results well beyond anybody's expectations.
A very sad-looking and battered 26 Andretti Honda is taken back to be worked on, and not for the first time this year, sadly, for Will Power. What a tough start to 2026 it has been, and it started at the start in St. Pete.
Right from practice, that was down in turn 10, brake issue, unable to get the car stopped, clobbered the wall. Had that happen in the race as well. This was Phoenix late in the race, battling for the lead.
Yeah, defending here on Christian Rasmussen. Contact right rear to left front. And then this in Arlington. Power comes around a blind corner with Scott Dixon sideways. No way to expect it, just wrong place, wrong time. And then today, the worst of all scenarios as a racing driver, something failing in the brake system, according to Will Power on the radio, and a massive front-end impact. Very, very lucky to walk away from that one.
I'll tell you what that just shows me. It just really highlights that's a slow corner. It's a 53-mile-an-hour minimum speed corner. But man, do you show up there going quick. It really does highlight how fast these Indy cars are hauling down that hill into turn 5, that if you don't have all 4 of your brakes working just right, the rate at which you can skip across the entire runoff into the barriers.
And this is important. You see Craig Hampson there leaning in, technical director for Andretti. They want to immediately find out what could this be from and make sure that it's isolated to just Will Power's car and not something they need to have concern about for the teammates.
I was watching you two when that crash replayed, and you both winced at exactly the same point. You have seen enough, you have done enough, you have raced enough, but when those incidents happen, when those moments hit of a brake failure, you guys feel it.
And I've crashed enough.
We've hit enough too.
I'm done with crashing.
No, it's a terrible feeling. I mean, it's that pit of your stomach thing. You wish that life was like a video game. You could hit the pause button, you could hit the reset button, be like, no, I'm gonna redo this one. I'm gonna start from scratch here.
I'll tell you what you're thankful for when you watch that. As painful and as much as you wince, you know that the Hans device was designed specifically for that kind of impact, a pure hard frontal deceleration. And I think I could hear Will Power kind of groan or grunt on the impact when we had the Top Gun cam looking back at him. And that's what you feel as the wind gets knocked out of you and you just, you can really feel it like you're getting hit in a football game.
You guys take tremendous risks as racing drivers, but we always talk, and we'll never experience it the way that you do, that you guys kind of almost have to, you have to compartmentalize that. You have to push it out, because if the fear was there, you probably never climb into the cockpit. When a moment like this happens and you realize you don't have brakes, does the fear kick in at that point? Does it suddenly become very real?
Yes, because control suddenly is out of control. You got to remember, there's 17 turns here. The race is going to be 90 laps. Will Power's been here, what, 12, 14 times? You do the math. You're talking thousands of confidence-building moments where the brake pedal is there, solid and ready for him every time until it's not. So what you remind yourself is, hey, I've got thousands of reps of things going right, and one time something went wrong, you lean on the thousands to pull you through those moments and get you back in the car.
And you just have to. You know, you have to have absolute trust in the car and the crew that the next time he gets in this car, which is going to be warm-up tomorrow, he hits that brake pedal and you see the frustration. He's just beside himself. Like you said, Will, or sorry, as you said, Townsend, that Will had mentioned, all right, I hope that all the bad luck's behind us. We had that breakthrough result in Arlington. He's sitting there talking to his manager. That's Oriol Servia, former IndyCar driver, current pace car driver in the IndyCar series. Wife Liz there with him as well.
He needs to go and burn some sage inside that car. Get rid of the bad vibes. But thankfully he is okay. And once again, and for the second time today, we are reminded of the safety of these Indy cars, the work that Dallara does in ensuring that our drivers can go and race in safety. Also for the barriers, the work here at Barber and the work of the AMR safety team. We are green. Cars are back out on track. Who's the first one? It is Alex Palou, first driver out on track. Will Power, though, is standing by with our Jack.
Well, firstly, we're glad to see you're okay. Saw a little bit of that frustration. We heard you say on the radio maybe there was a braking issue. Any thoughts on what went wrong?
Yeah, the brake just went to the floor. I think the fronts were working, so it was a brake failure on the rear. That's all I know. Yeah.
And you're obviously such a veteran, and you're so good in all these series. How do you reset and then go again tomorrow?
Yeah, it's we'll find the problem. It's no big deal. It's just a pity for qualifying there. I think we had a good car. Kind of haven't had a clean lap this weekend, but the car is actually very good. I thought we'd make it through to the Fast Six, so definitely the top 12. But it's unfortunate. Definitely found the wall quite a few times this year already. It's incredible, but you know, that's how things go sometimes. We'll see what happened, and then just fix the guys will fix the car and starting from last, but you can definitely win from there.
Well, if anyone can, you can. Better luck tomorrow, buddy.
26 of his poles have come on road courses. 2 of his victories have come at this track.
And guys, now it's going to be frantic. It's fast and furious back on the racetrack. 3:30 to go. When we've seen with these cooler track temperatures, these soft tires, you need to get a second push lap in to really find the peak. So you're talking an out lap, a prep / first push lap, and then a second proper push lap to really figure it out. There's not a lot of time to back off, T-Bell, and find that gap that you want if you're going to make all those laps.
Nobody messing around with a banker on the hard tires at this point. 3 minutes left. Palou knows that a red could come again at any time, and he's wasting no time to get right to the limit.
Has to make it work, and has to make it work immediately. The top time is that of rookie Caio Collet, 106.940, as Palou takes to the curbs, gets the power down on the run through under the bridge and into the downhill chicane.
See that pylon on your left side of your screen there. If you're in the bottom set, or the bottom below the top 6, that red line that separates right here below Kiffin Simpson, that's all you need to be. You don't need to be fastest right now, just quicker than the bottom group. Lundgaard right now on the outside looking in, but if you're tracking green, that's to
Massive.
6th place.
Massive. That is 1.1 seconds faster than his own pole position from last year. Alex Palou on an absolute tear.
And 3/10, I believe, off the track record in qualifying set by Grosjean. Yeah, so 105.83. So Palou has a chance to set a new track record on his second flying lap here. On board with Rahal, but he's off song.
But he's just done
jumped up to second.
Great lap. That's only a 10th.5 off of Palou, who's just, we were just talking about how strong that lap was. These conditions, guys, are amazing. As Dixon crosses the all-start finish line, he's up into the top 6, but everybody below, except Power, who's obviously out at this point, is tracking quicker.
Yeah, 7th through 11th is in the money. Rossi.
Keep your eyes now on Lundgaard, 2/10 to the good. We jump on board with him through Hinch's favorite part of the circuit. Maximum commitment through here and over the line. Lundgaard to second.
Amazing, amazing. This McLaren squad's been absolutely on it this weekend. He's going to get another crack at it. These times are going to keep falling. Palou out there right now, not tracking to go any quicker. Can Armstrong improve on a 106.4? No. It looks like that first lap may have been it for a lot of these guys, T-Bell.
Yeah, that's what it showed in practice, was about a 3 to 4/10 drop-off on the second lap. But now you know for real, everybody on light fuel, the same tire mileage, and we get a true read. That's what qualifying's all about.
Scott Dixon on the outside looking in. Caio Collet is there or thereabouts. It's nip and tuck for him. Kiffin Simpson suddenly trending green as well.
Yeah, Collet losing a little bit of time there through 2 and 3, gaining it back on the exit. There's so much give and take, so much compromise on this racetrack with car placement, with entry speed versus exit launch. Right now, he's going the wrong way, but Dixon in 7th, trying to knock Ferrucci out. Could you imagine if Dixon is out and Ferrucci is in after the struggles we've seen from the AJ Foy Racing driver?
We know Dixon's been out there for a couple laps on these reds, so can he make them work and hang on? It doesn't look like it through this long turn 2. You see the time bleeding down, going from green to red.
He has not made it through the first part of qualifying at any race this year. Very, very unlike Scott Dixon. 16th in St. Pete, 15th in Phoenix, 20th in Arlington, and already a 10.5 down.
And it sure looks like the difference is rear tires here, James, as Dixon comes through the museum corner and looks to try to accelerate. You see that time gap really grow. Just not able to get the power down like he was on the first lap.
Checkered is out. This will be it for everyone on a hot lap.
Siegel still working it. Siegel just about a 10th off right now as Dixon hits the line. It won't be enough.
First time in 4 years that Scott Dixon is outside the top 12 for the first 4 races of a season. We go on board with Nolan Siegel down 2/10.
It's going to take something pretty mighty here in 12 and 13 to close that gap. He was trending okay at the top of the hill. Oh, big commitment.
Really good run. He made up a decent gap. He goes to 8th. But impressive.
But not quite enough. But it's Palou and Lundgaard who progress, along with an impressive run from Graham Rahal. Marcus Armstrong goes through, so too Alexander Rossi. And what about Santino Ferrucci, making up for a difficult start to the season to make it through to the top 12.
What'd you guys score?
I scored a 3.
I got a 4.
Ooh, who do you have?
Hinch. I had Palou, Armstrong, Rossi, and Lundgaard.
I had Palou, Armstrong, and Lundgaard.
What you got, Jimmy?
I got 4.
Tied again. All right, let's talk Group 2. I've got Ward, Kirkwood, Malukas, Newgarden, VK, and McLaughlin.
The exact same.
I have the exact same, but I don't have VK. I have
Mick Schumacher.
Mick Schumacher. And given that Graham Rahal's just gone through 3rd,
it's not a bad shout.
I don't think that's a bad shout.
Not a bad shout at all.
I raised 2 eyebrows when I saw you put that down, and now I'm lowering 1.
Yes, you look like The Rock.
You should see me with no eyebrows.
Could be arranged.
Well, one of the guys outside looking in, not just this guy, Scott Dixon. Another one is Christian Rasmussen, whose teammate Alex Rossi made it in, but Kevin caught up with the Rasmanian Devil.
and it's so tight. Just needed another 10th or so. Do you have any sense yet of what you're missing?
I don't know. Yeah, we just missed it. I mean, we've been struggling to find the balance all weekend, and we've thrown some big changes at it over the course of the weekend. But yeah, obviously still haven't quite found it yet. So we'll keep working.
To the massively changing conditions, 85 degrees yesterday, 50 for the practice this morning. Does that make it more challenging?
I don't know. We've been struggling with the same thing all weekend. So.
Thanks, Christian.
The conditions is a good point. I mean, it was, it's about 15 degrees warmer, warmer ambient, about 20 degrees warmer track temp than this morning, which is still cooler than it was yesterday. So it's, these racetracks and these race cars are all very temperature sensitive. They can be affected, but 3/10 off his teammate Rossi, who made it in. That's going to be, you can feel the frustration when you don't quite know what it is that's missing, but you're missing that crucial bit of lap time.
So let's take a look at who advances from that first group. It is Alex Palou and Christian Lundgaard, Rahal, Armstrong, Rossi, and Ferrucci.
What an impressive run from Santino there. Been struggling kind of all weekend long, able to get it done when it mattered, and he will move on. Again, great from Rossi as well. We mentioned one of the guys not able to advance, surprisingly, was Scott Dixon. Let's head down to the pits and hear from him.
Scotty, climb over the wall here. We hate to see you this early in the session. I know qualifying's been a little tough this year. Today it was less than a 10th. What do you think is missing, or you guys are going to keep working on to make that transfer?
Yeah, it's been frustrating to the start of the season, especially on that side of things. The cars definitely had good pace. That one, we kind of went aggressive to do the red, and then obviously caught the red flag as well, which kind of threw things into a bit of a tailspin. But I just didn't put the 2 laps together. I only did a push, then a cool off, and then another push. You know, had I nailed it, I think 12, 13 was bad on the first one, and then turn 5 later on the second one. So yeah, car's got the pace, just didn't piece it together very well.
All right, buddy. Have a great race tomorrow.
Are we to ascertain from what we're hearing and from what we're seeing that it's 1 push lap on the soft,
yes,
and it's done?
Yep.
So you've got to make that one move and make it work.
I mean, the read was pretty clean on Palou, and then with subsequent cars, it's like they could get the first couple of corners maybe, but then as the lap progressed, I really noticed it on power down. That's where it seemed to have the most glaring loss on the second push lap on the Reds, was just getting the rears to bite, hook up, and launch you off these corners. And so many of the power down moments here push you uphill at Barber, out of the museum corner, out of turn 5. So the penalty of power down loss really carries on an uphill stretch following the corner exit.
You see everybody leaving together. This first lap is going to be a bit of jockeying for position.
Pato Award with a super consistent start to this season, talking about how important that is to him.
He's one of only 3 winners the last 5 years here, and if you just look at what Christian Lundgaard did at a 106.2 to Palou's 106.1, you got to think that with Pato's hands and experience here, his confidence at this track, maybe he's got a shot for pole today.
You can see, talking about that consistent start. He's got the 2nd best average finish this season behind championship leader Kyle Kirkwood, 4.7. Really strong start. And after what we saw from this driver last year, really took a step up in that consistency, bringing it home in a decent result when it's not the fastest car, putting together that kind of championship run. This is a great start for him and the team.
And that's been the story of Pato Award the last couple of years, I find, is taking what you're given and strong average finishes, not overdriving the race car. On board here with Kirkwood.
Good at the start of the lap, average in the middle of the lap. His teammate Marcus Ericsson is fastest. Kirkwood slides into second. The times not where we expect them to be by the end of this session. Everybody out there on the hard tyre. We will wait for the transition to the soft for the really fast times to show themselves. These ones sighting laps, what we call banker laps. Just getting that knowledge base in. Where's the grip? Schumacher up into the top 6. Very intrigued to see how Mick Schumacher does here today. The rookie has had a change to his engineering team this weekend. Seemingly felt much more at home, much more at ease during practice 2 this morning. Led for much of the session on the hard tyre.
So far, only Stingray Robb and Dennis Hauger have gone out on the soft tire, which is interesting because we hear a lot of drivers saying they think this is going to be a soft tire race, which means if you're going soft in this first round of qualifying, you're going to have a lot of used soft tires for the race tomorrow, which could be a disadvantage. But is the higher starting position worth the risk? Here we are on board with Stingray.
Kirkwood to the top from Ericsson, Award, Malukas. Everybody on the hard tyres. Malukas now to the top. We sit on board with his teammate Scott McLaughlin. This car, they didn't rebuild the chassis that went through the fence earlier today, or into the fence, I should say, earlier today. This was the backup car. As soon as they saw the incident, the guys down at Penske decided build up the spare. No point trying to salvage anything from that for this weekend. Just build it up and get him out on track. So the confidence building begins for Scott McLaughlin.
Huge amount of work out of Team Penske to make this moment happen right here. I was down in the garage area after practice. There was no less than about 15 Team Penske team members from sister program, you know, the teammates' cars coming over and helping out. It's not as if it's a built backup car. To your point, it has to be put together. Engine gearbox coming off of the primary car that was crashed, bolted on, scrambling to get it fired, systems check. Small miracle that this guy and this car are on the track at speed right now.
So 6 minutes just over left of the session. Kirkwood is your fastest man, 106.9. Then it's Malukas and Ericsson, VK and Hauger and O'Ward.
I kind of like the red, white, and blue Odyssey battery livery too. That thing looking patriotic.
God, great to see Rinus VK still up there in the top 5. The pace from practice appears to be legitimate. He was so good here last year, driving for Dale Coyne Racing. Now Dennis Hauger of Dale Coyne, well, was just in the top 6. Newgarden has jumped up there again. You just have to be in that top 6 to progress to qualifying 2, as we see the 76 of VK now come in for his fresh set of softs.
Second fastest in the session so far, Rinus VK. Also, a hat tip to Louis Foster, 5th for RLL. His teammate Graham Rahal went through in the first group. 5.5 minutes remain. Marcus Ericsson, 4th fastest. First ever Indycar pole position last time out in Arlington.
Not great. He had to get out of the throttle. He tried to pick up as early as he could in 13 there. Bit of understeer. Had to back out of it. Now Newgarden putting the power down out of turn 5. Looks pretty tidy through there. Personal best in that first sector for him as he comes down now through the museum complex over those curves. It's so uncomfortable from behind the wheel. You're crashing over those curves. The car's completely unweighted, unsettled, but it's what you have to do for the speed here.
A little nervous here for Newgarden with just 4:50 left now on the clock. And not a lot of time to come to the pits, get reds on. You never know when a red flag could come out as well, so they're leaving it pretty late, but Newgarden will come to the box now and make that change.
Good job here, currently P4. Any changes? Yeah, it's pretty good, I think. I mean, you could do a touch of wing, probably.
Touch of wing means add just a little bit of front wing, front flap. It's an easy adjustment for the crew to do here in the pit stop. As you put on these soft tires, you tend to pick up a little bit more rear grip than front grip. That's not always the case, but more often that's the issue. So you add a little bit of front wing to kind of rebalance. Joseph off and away.
Drivers starting to make their way out on track on the soft tire. Pato O'Ward is out there. Malukas is out there. The two Andrettis are getting out there on track. We look at Romain Grosjean on the soft tire, and when you look at the names on the left, remember only 6 will go through. A big name or 2 will have to fall at this hurdle. So stacked is this qualifying group. We look at the returning Phoenix, Romain Grosjean, Dale Coyne Racing, back with the team with which he started his IndyCar career. finished 8th in St. Petersburg after making it through to the Fast Six.
I like the way this car looks on track right now. It looks hooked up. Grosjean looks confident. It looks like it has a lot of bite mid-corner, and he is a half second now, 6-7 tenths to the good. So things continue to improve for this little team and this big driver.
And remember, it's the first lap on these tires that is going to count. The first lap that gives you the biggest bite. He's coming up to traffic ahead, though.
Oh, no!
For Romain Grosjean. And they've got in his way his one opportunity for a driver who still holds the pole record at this lap, and that's it done.
Stingray, you got to do a better job getting out of the way.
And look, that's unforgivable. That's on the team as well. The team's got to be able to talk to him, tell him who's coming, but that was just a poorly executed positioning. Now Stingray not able to start this lap with any pace.
And Grosjean was on an absolute smoker.
Yes, he was.
I mean, yeah, the fact that Stingray had to ask that question, that's a failure on the team.
Yep.
The team should have let him know.
Well, Grosjean's not letting this one go. There's a fire inside Romain Grosjean. As you said, he holds the pole record here of a 105.8. If anyone can get it done, it is this man, and he will be pumped up, fired up. It's 4 tenths to the good now on the way down into the long left-hander. Kevin.
And despite the success he's heading, you mentioned the pole, also finished second, and has always run up front. He didn't know what to expect. He's not driven here with the heavier hybrid car, so came in with some optimism, but told me before this session began, oh, we're pretty good here. I think we have something. He was 4th in the practice session this morning. Can he get a second lap out of those softs, though? That's what he's trying to do right now.
Oh, it's a great lap. He is absolutely wringing the neck of his Dale Coyne racing machine. Up and over the hill, down and to the top. 106.4. That is how you get it done.
Now, luckily, we're talking about round one. Grosjean had a better lap going before he had traffic, but that 6.4 looks pretty favorable to transfer.
Guys, a 6.47 is what he did. A 6.46 was the cutoff in Group 1. I don't know if this is going to be enough for Grosjean. He is right on the bubble.
How about this guy right here? Scotty Mack fighting back from that huge crash in practice. He goes P2.
Ericsson is up. Foster is looking to get in. Rosenqvist is fast as well. We ride on board with Pato aboard. Down in 10th as it stands.
David Malukas now to the top. The Team Penske driver showing he's got some pace here around the twisty turns of Alabama's finest racing track. Here now, Ericsson up 4.5, 5 tenths of a second. Where does he end up? P3.
Big. Back to Kyle Kirkwood. And Kirkwood now to the top.
Boy, Kirkwood is legit here at Barber this weekend.
Foster improves, but only as good as 7th. 45 seconds. Newgarden
just makes it. Going to stay out for one more. Here's your man.
Here he is, but he's 1.6 seconds down. If this is a build lap, then he should get over the line to begin a proper effort. Now Mick Schumacher goes.
As long as you cross the line before the checkered falls, you can finish that lap. It will count. And we see a little bit of green in the bottom half of that pylon.
He's right on the bubble, Will.
Right on the bubble. Someone who's up, though, big time. Rosenqvist looks like he'll break his way in. O'Ward up to 5th, but is that going to be enough? The gaps are minuscule between the drivers on the bubble right now.
McLaughlin on the outside looking in. I don't see his car. Oh, you know, he is out on track still. He is out on track.
Rosenqvist coming to the end. Checkered flag is out. Rosenqvist has dropped beneath the time that he needs to make it through. All red below that cutoff line, and Schumacher just skids a little wide. Has he lost time? He has.
Oh, but he's up now. He is right there.
Right on the bubble for Mick Schumacher.
This would be huge.
It would put Pato O'Ward on the outside looking in. Big commitment through 12 and 13.
He's lost a 10th of a second. Schumacher improves to 10th. It wasn't quite enough.
Only a 10th of a second off.
Well, we said big names would fall. McLaughlin, one of them. Rinus VeeKay, who's looked so impressive all the way through this weekend, falls. So too Rosenqvist. So too Mick Schumacher and his teammate Louis Foster. The two RLL drivers not able to repeat what their teammate did in Group 1. But this guy to come in 7th after that massive crash this morning, you got to say a sterling effort. from him. Just 0.02 of a second outside the top 6. That's for Kyle Kirkwood. He marches on. The championship leader is through.
So show us your cards. 4 out of 6 for Group 2 for me. 8 out of 12 total. Hinch, I don't need to ask your score. We had the same picks. So you're 8 for 12. How'd you do, boss?
I got 4.
Ah, so we're tied.
Everyone's tied going in.
No, I only got 3 Group 1.
Oh, you got 3.
You're out.
Sorry. Okay.
Shock. I'm bad at predictions.
Aren't we all? So a penalty coming for Stingray Rob. No surprise here. Grosjean on a hot lap. You see them both trying to get a gap. He pulls over originally. He's way offline, but then just continues on through the corner. Very, very bizarre. The team obviously not giving him enough information, but also a bizarre way to handle it from his standpoint. If you're even questioning it, just hit the brakes right there.
Seemed confused on either direction he was getting, or...
Yeah, he was very non-committal in whatever decision he was making behind the wheel, regardless of the information.
Good news is for Grosjean, he's got a crazy fast car, and he is a crazy fast driver. He looks the most committed of any lap I've seen so far. He could absolutely be a pole contender based on what I saw on his first lap of new tires.
And here's the big thing with Grosjean as well. While everybody else was struggling on that second lap, he was able to pull another one straight out.
And what's surprising about that session for me was that his teammate, Dennis Hauger, who we've been bigging up this whole day, this whole season, was last on time. He's gone now ahead of Stingray Rob. Stingray's time has been deleted for the penalty. So 12th in the group will line up, 24th on the grid.
But his time's way off. He's a second off.
There's got to be more to the story there.
Yeah, I don't see that as being.
You guys got 30 seconds. I need you to pick your Fast Six.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
All bets are in.
I need a pen.
Should I wave my hand across the blackjack table?
So this, your 12 drivers who advanced from the last session. It was Kirkwood and Malukas, Grosjean and Newgarden, Ericsson and Pato O'Ward. What a 12 we have going through to fight to make their way to the Fast Six and fight for pole. So who's your 610s?
Give me Pelot.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I'm going to wait. Have you guys picked? Are your bets in?
No, hang on.
See, this is why.
One for now.
That's why.
I can't share the expertise.
Is that what you're calling it?
We're sharing it with the international audience.
Okay.
I know, but once James has his picks in.
Right.
Okay.
Let's
Picks
go.
are in?
Yes.
Pelot.
Tick.
Lundgaard.
Tick. Yep.
Award.
Tick.
Nope. Kirkwood.
Yep.
Tick.
Malukas.
Tick.
Yep.
Grosjean.
Tick. We're exactly the same.
Beautiful.
Who have you got other than
Newgarden, Pelot, Kirkwood, Armstrong,
Newgarden.
Malukas, and Lundgaard.
Sorry, what was the difference? Armstrong.
I don't have a Ward.
Oh, you went.
I don't have Grosjean. I've got the 2, the 10, the 27, the 12, the 7, and the 66.
So you've got Newgarden and
Malukas.
Armstrong.
Armstrong and Lundgaard that you guys do not.
No, Armstrong and
Newgarden.
Did you have?
We don't have Armstrong or Newgarden.
The international
Lundgaard,
audience
though.
is completely confused. Right
Yeah, we've just been spitting out names and numbers at you guys. But look, we're all going to be very wrong, at least with one of those picks. That's just the nature of this.
I'm just most excited to see Grosjean send it. Kev?
So we always like to know who has what available as far as Firestone tires. Of those that advanced, Alexander Rossi is the only one that's used 2 sets of softs. Up to 3 are available, but if you use all 3, that means you only have 1 set of new sticker softs, the red sidewalls for the race tomorrow. And that's all you have to run, unlike some of the street races where you must run 2 sets. Here, 1, and it must be new, is the requirement for the race tomorrow. So if Rossi uses another set, he will be down to just 1 for the race tomorrow.
And everybody's saying, Kevin, they think it'll be a red race. So that is a sacrifice that everybody will be debating. Do you want track position to start or save yourself some freshies for race running?
And you need freshies because unlike the new rule for street courses where you have to run 2 sets of softs, but they don't have to be new. Here you need the new set of softs.
And well, one set you don't get until Sunday.
Yeah.
So you have a guaranteed new set. You cannot use all of your reds.
Yeah.
You have one new set that's not released to the teams until Sunday for that very reason. But to only have one new set against other teams that have 2, potentially 3 new sets, like
thank you for correcting me. I had overlooked that fact. I appreciate that.
Yeah, because that way, I mean, all right, you could get very greedy and
very
qualifying, very tempting to run them all.
You've heard about the teams that leave tires out to warm up. It's called a sunset.
It's very good. Back at beautiful Barber. We've got our predictions of who's going to make it through to the Fast Six. Who are yours? An absolutely stacked, stellar lineup of 12 will be reduced to 6 at the end of this part of qualifying. And the one thing that we saw from Romain Grosjean's run in that last session was that he at least can make that soft tire last for more than 1 push lap.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have been a really impressive time had he not been interfered with there on his first flyer. He would have been right there, I think, with Alex Palou. I'm particularly excited to see what Grosjean can do if he gets clear track on another new set of Firestones. There you see the 12 that will battle for 6 as they all roll out here for round 2.
And guys, let's not forget, there's quite literally nobody in IndyCar history that has been faster around this racetrack than Romain Grosjean. He holds the qualifying record at a 105.83. So he knows how to get it done here. And we were watching that first lap and we were both sort of like leaning back in our chairs. That car looked hooked up.
It's rare that you can see grip that definitively, but I saw bite, I saw sidewall dig.
Yes.
It was grippy.
It was grippy and it was great.
Guys, Bowles, our wonderful stats guys, just handed me a brilliant stat. You want to talk about how close, how tight IndyCar is?
I do.
In the Fast 12, 9 of the 10 IndyCar teams have at least 1 car in this session. The only one who doesn't is Hunkos. What a brilliant exemplification of just how tight and unpredictable this championship is weekend to weekend.
And just how even it is across the teams, you know, top to bottom. And honestly, I think not having Rinus VeeKay in the top 12 was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, big time.
So he certainly had the pace earlier, the capability. There could be a lot of different reasons why the lap didn't get done, but it's not that that team doesn't have the performance to do it. It just didn't come together for them today. So interesting to see Joseph Newgarden from this Ironman driver's eye cam. He is on a set of used reds. Kev, what else do you know about the two?
Well, engineer Luke Mason said today that getting their road course program sorted was a major focus coming into this season. They know that's the only way they're going to beat Alex Palou for the championship. So that's team-wide for Team Penske. And they felt pretty good coming into qualifying today that they would have an opportunity to get into the Firestone Fast Six. They rolled off the truck well yesterday, so let's see what Newgarden can get it done in a place where he was so good for so long, but not only hasn't had results in the last 5 years, an average finish of 15.6, hasn't been particularly quick.
Kevin, you make a great point. From 2014 to 2018, Newgarden was a guarantee for the Firestone Fast Six. The last 7 years, never in the Fast Six. And the finishing the last 5 years, barely a whiff of a top 10, just once last year in 10th. This is a big opportunity for Newgarden to turn around his fortunes at Barber right now.
You saw that in the last 5 years, 15.5 is his average finish. Over the first 5, couple wins, 5.5 was his average finish. But it's also been a while since Joseph's won on a road or street course. He's had some dominant performances on the ovals, but I want to say it's been back since 2022 maybe was the last time Newgarden took a checkered flag not on an oval.
Looks like used reds for Pato O'Ward.
Just looking at our screen, I think it's used reds for the entire, everybody that's on the reds, which is just Newgarden and O'Ward.
Yep.
It's Ericsson at the top on the hards.
Let's see what O'Ward does here across the line. Pato up to the top.
On the soft, a 107.1.
So what do you like better here as a strategy, James? Given the disparity that we've seen, I like the used reds so that the feel is as consistently back-to-back as possible.
Very valid, and I like that. But as a red race, I don't want to put another run on a set. That's now a second run on that set of reds. You will not use that set for the race. You are eliminating that essentially as an option. A one-run set you can reuse. A two-run set, pretty risky to run in a race. So both Newgarden and O'Ward committing essentially to throwing one set of reds out.
4 stints in the race on a 3-stopper. So to your point, that would commit them to 2 blacks and 2 red stints. If you save them, maybe you do 3 red stints.
Back with Ericsson. First pole last time out in Arlington.
This guy's only been in the Fast Six once here at Barber Motorsports Park. It was all the way back in his second season with Chip Ganassi, 2021. But the last 4 years, it's been 23rd, 18th, 13th, and 12th for Ericsson.
Rail's laying down a nice lap on the hard tire right now. So too David Malukas. Malukas goes to 3rd on the hard, quicker than O'Ward, quicker than Palou. But Graham Rahal is hooked up this weekend.
Guys, that lap from Newgarden on the used reds is pretty impressive. It's actually a couple hundredths of a second quicker than he managed in Q1 Group 2.
So wait a second, is this a red race?
That's what they're saying.
Newgarden on the reds. It seems like that's the tire you're going to want to have, as Kirkwood on the blacks does a 6.9 and a 7.1. But to your point, James, if this is a red race, that 9/10 advantage that Newgarden just showed, maybe you want to save that in your hip pocket and not burn it up for a banker.
Well, banker's done. Sighter's set. That's your top 6. Newgarden, Kirkwood, Malukas, Lundgaard, O'Ward, Palou. Only Newgarden and O'Ward have been out in this session on the soft. Everybody now waiting to pull the pin and head out on track. You're going to need a clear track if you can possibly find it, and maybe just the one shot, the one chance to make this lap and make this tire work.
Track temp, what, 95 degrees?
95.7, ambience up at 71. This is honestly, again, this is kind of perfect track conditions. Air is just cool enough.
Not much wind out there right now, as we see maybe 6-7 miles an hour, top of the treetop swaying just a little bit. Ideal conditions as 2 cars roll off together. I think that is Grosjean and Palou.
Palou and O'Ward, I think. Just based on where they are.
O'Ward would be further up. Yeah, the orange
Palou,
cars.
O'Ward and Ericsson.
There you go.
The pits.
Good shot of the...
Does that look like 7 miles an hour?
Well, 6.5.
Now it's speeding.
Oh, it's speeding up now.
Here we go.
Anemometers hard at work there all around the racetrack.
Is there a motor in there? That thing doubled in speed.
Well, this is going to be absolutely fascinating. Some names we might not expect to challenge for the top 6, may challenge for the top 6 in this. I'm particularly looking at the likes of Graham Rahal, who's been super impressive this weekend. Romain Grosjean, who was absolutely committed on his push laps last time round. Armstrong has looked pretty spicy this weekend.
One of the things that teams might have considered here with this tire change is gambling on fuel. Maybe deciding, you know what, we're going to try to do it in one flyer, and if you don't, you won't have gas for the second. Why? Because you're going to run the car lighter, and you might just gain 0.5 tenth to 1 tenth by putting it all on the line for the one lap. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, not carrying that extra lap of fuel, it is going to buy you that little bit of time. Fuel is weight. Weight slows down braking, acceleration, cornering speed. It's just free lap time. But you are then limiting yourself.
You put a lot of pressure on your driver.
Small mistake. But hey, look, we look back to Arlington. It was one and done no matter what. It was only one lap once you were in the Firestone Fast Six. So I don't hate it.
So out of pit lane, one build, one push. It seems to be for everybody. Just under 3 minutes remain. Sit on board with Joseph Newgarden, trying to find some clear track.
He is trying to find some brake temperature as well while he's looking in his mirror. Critical to put yourself in the right gap. Your team information so important as they study the map of the track with the marching ants, we call them, where all the competitors are. You want clean air, and you do not want one chance that you'll get an interference penalty. Here comes Grosjean. Still warming.
Still warming. Great to see him back in the NTT IndyCar Series this season. He's a driver coach last year, reserve driver at Prema. Right on board with Ericsson, who is up 2/10 to the good through turn 1 into the long right at 2.
Lots of understeer, but making it work. The new tires can sometimes just hold it, and then right now the time is looking strong.
You just heard how Ericsson went from 0 to about 50% throttle instantly. Watch here. What kind of drive can he get up the hill?
It's clean. It's a nice exit for Marcus Ericsson. First time on a pole, last time out in Arlington. How much confidence will that give him?
And behind him on the racetrack, Armstrong on a strong lap, even stronger than what we're seeing from Ericsson from where he is on the racetrack.
We don't see it because he's already up in the top 6, but Alex Palou is putting in an absolute flyout.
Wow.
Drops the time to a 106.0. We are edging ever closer to the pole record. Ericsson is up and goes second, a 106.3. Armstrong, though, is massively up. 0.8 of a second, Marcus Armstrong on his lap. He'll be coming to the end pretty soon.
Coming across 13 now, Armstrong up to P2, 0.2 off of Palou, and now Kirkwood.
106.038.
That
got a fight.
Is impressive from Kirkwood.
Currently P3.
Malukas now 4/10 up on that bubble line.
I love that you can hear the floor just scraping.
Rails in to 4th, but look from positions 9 and down. All green. Lundgaard just pops down into the red. And Ferrucci's off and into the grass, but makes it up into the top 6, as only Santino Ferrucci can.
No, get
eyes
off.
on Malukas, eyes on Grosjean. Grosjean up to 5th. Malukas pushing. Lundgaard improves his time, but doesn't get into the 6th. Malukas now to 3rd.
Wow, 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. What can Pato O'Ward do? He's way off.
Way off. He'll get another run at it. Ericsson hasn't got enough, 1.2 seconds.
Newgarden with a chance to bump Grosjean right here, but I don't think it's enough.
Not enough for the Penske man. Newgarden is out. Kirkwood.
I don't know if Newgarden is out. Look at the number 2. Is he on pit lane? No, he's still on the track, and he just lost a big chunk. He's bailing out of it now.
He's out. He's out. And that is all she wrote.
Boy, Grosjean narrowly made it.
Rahal through.
Grosjean was on a lap quick enough.
You did great, man. All clear behind. Just watch your pit speed coming in.
That's the voice of Brian Barnhart on the box, a familiar voice to so many up and down pit lane. Been doing this a long time and guiding Graham Rahal to a Firestone Fast Six transfer.
Well, this wasn't the lap that counted, but he recovered nicely. Man, what a great lap from Graham. Let's watch that replay from the onboard down here into 5. Yeah, just didn't get the car slowed down, didn't get it wound up the way he wanted, but did when it mattered. Ferrucci an impressive 7th, but how about Ericsson, Newgarden, Lundgaard, and O'Ward out. Rahal, Grosjean, and Armstrong in.
Heartache for McLaren. Both their drivers out.
Iconic moments with the Indycar flashback. Find and follow every episode on Apple Podcasts. Plus, race replays and other stories featuring your favorite drivers. From the green to the checker, what drives our drivers is a passion that has made them the best in the world. Global Medical Response, a proud partner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and NTT services. As a GMR first responder, you will be on the front line of medicine, playing a vital role in your community and providing care in any crisis. Our teams include nurses, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, pilots, dispatchers, and mechanics. Learn more at gmr.net/careers. Attention, those of you looking to go on a fun vacation and see the world.
So just following up on the wager here, I had Palou. Both McLarens didn't make it. I had Kirkwood, Malukas, and Grosjean. So 4 out of 6 for the Fast Six. Mr. Buxton.
I had the same as you.
4 out of 6. Jimmy.
Different 4, but 4 out of 6.
That would be a dead heat. Now we got to pick pole.
Easy.
I'm thinking about taking a flyer, but I don't want to.
Do it.
I just don't want to.
Do it.
You're going to say Grosjean.
The surgeon.
No.
The surgeon is unstoppable, I feel, right now. Give me the surgeon. I want Grosjean.
I'm going for Flint Lockwood. Flint Lockwood.
Give me Plex Alo.
Hinch, who are you picking?
Yeah, what's your poll?
Who's your pole, man?
Stop ordering DoorDash and pick a poll winner.
I'm looking at data.
Who's... Somebody was shopping for sneakers on that screen earlier. Was that you, Hinch?
Got 5 seconds.
I'm going to go Kirkwood, man. He's been first or second in every session.
2 Woods, 1 Palou.
To fight for pole in the Firestone Fast Six, championship leader Kyle Kirkwood, defending race winner and last year's pole sitter Alex Palou, David Malukas, Marcus Armstrong, Graham Rahal, and Romain Grosjean.
Let's do a little analysis here for
I
our
like analysis.
international audience. A little ghost car. This is the transfer position. So it was 6th for Grosjean, 7th for Ferrucci across the line there. That was the difference. So I think when Ferrucci went off there, we saw that he kept his foot stuck in it, but definitely still lost a little bit of time. That was the difference. So Ferrucci was fast enough on a clean lap to get into the Fast Six.
I have to say Grosjean made some kind of a big bobble in the museum corner because he lost about 2 or 3 tenths in turn 9. So issues for both drivers, but they kept on it and just were on the bubble together with Grosjean having the advantage. So now used reds, I believe, for all 6 drivers here. Tough to pick a favorite. We placed our bets. I took Palou. You both took Kirkwood.
Pressure change on set 9. Going to go up 1 PSI all the way around. 1 PSI plus.
Is that the Mitch Davis, I believe, who calls strategy for the 18 of Romain Grosjean? Now remember, Grosjean blocked earlier on his flyer in the issue there with Stingray Robb, and then he stayed after it for a second lap. So that gives him maybe the most relevant experience in the last 30 minutes on used reds.
Firestone Fast Six.
Welcome back to Barber. This is it. Go fast time. Firestone Fast Six. Kyle Kirkwood, championship leader. Alex Palou, reigning champion. David Malukas, Marcus Armstrong, Graham Rahal, and Romain Grosjean will fight it out for the honor of pole position here at Barber Motorsports Park. Beautiful day. Has the temperature risen at all in this session, or is it staying pretty solid, Hinch?
Half a degree lower,
oh,
believe it or not.
Okay, okay.
track about the same. And yeah, I mean, good mix, but interesting that all of the Honda Power teams are represented in the Fast Six. You've got Andretti Global, Chip Ganassi Racing, Meyer Shank, RLL, and Dale Coyne Racing.
Santino Ferrucci narrowly missed out on making it through to the Firestone Fast Six. A little moment off track towards the end of his lap. He's standing by on pit lane.
It's the best qualifying effort for Santino Ferrucci since he won the pole at Portland a couple of years ago. And you needed only another 100th to get into the Firestone Fast Six. Still, what do you take away?
I mean, honestly, one of our new things this year was to try and start with the car that we, you know, rolled out with and just build on it there. And to be honest, yeah, we had it. I just kind of, we've been missing time in 12 and 13, and it's been on me, you know, to kind of fix that. And so I just kind of sent it to 13, and I think I sent it too far because I passed the line off the track. So, and, you know, it sucks because that's what cost us the Fast Six. But honestly, I can't thank all of AJ Foyt Racing and HFOT. You know, we've come a long way in the last few years. We're trying to make this the new normal. We're in the Fast 12 at Arlington, you know, almost in the Fast 6 this weekend. We've had great race cars. I just want to pass less cars. So I like being the Fast Master, but man, it feels good to start up front.
He doesn't need to pass as many tomorrow for a good day on race day. Santino Ferrucci and AJ Foyt Racing.
Like the positivity in Santino. Our championship leader will have his best race start of the season, regardless of where he finishes in this session. His best was Arlington, and that was a P7. So already it's one up for Kyle Kirkwood this year. He's had to pass more drivers than anybody else, or has passed more drivers than anybody else this year. An interesting fact, though, we've had 3 different drivers from 3 different teams win races this year. We've also had 3 different drivers take pole this year, and only one of them is in this group. That man is David Malukas. Nobody else in this group yet has a pole in 2026.
So we could see that record extended, and I gotta say, big props to Marcus Armstrong. I don't think we've kind of given him enough credit for the job he's done really all weekend long, all season long. You go through the season results for him in the 66. He was 11th in St. Pete, but that was after fighting for a podium late in the race. Top 5 in Phoenix, top 10 in Arlington. Just having a nice, consistent start to the season. Pace has been there in every single racetrack that we've been to so far.
Well, and this weekend here as well. I mean, Armstrong was, what, 5th in practice 2 this morning, showing good pace, good resolve.
I love seeing Graham up there as well. He's so good.
Does Polo have stickers?
Yes, he does.
It looks like it.
No, yes,
he does.
When did that happen?
Does that mean he didn't? No, you've got enough to do that.
Do you?
Yeah, you get 5 sets. You use 1 in Friday.
No more
3 for
4 sets, that's
qualifying.
right. They all have stickers. We're making way too much out of used tires. Everybody should be on stickers here.
Correct.
If you double red in round 1,
which only Rossi did,
adjustment.
so
Kevin?
everybody should have it.
So according to Kyle Kirkwood's radio, he was the only one that went out here on used tires. I see Marcus Armstrong with a sticker set of sauce. You saw Alex Palou on screen for a little while, and I think Grosjean is going to use a new set as well. So we will watch and see, and these will be down to 1 set for the race tomorrow, but it's worth it for the track position and a chance at pole.
Alex Palou has 12 poles to his name, according to the official records. He started from the pole 13 times. The one occasion that doesn't count, or does count, so depending on how you look at it, was thanks to a rain out.
Just looking at tires, did Graham go red in an earlier round because he's on used reds right now?
Or is he saving a second set of new for the race? Does he think, hey, look, I'm probably not going to get an Alex Palou, I'm not going to get a Kyle Kirkwood, but
and
maybe
Jack Kirkwood on used reds as well.
Jack?
Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't hear the send down there. Going to Graham, although he did just go out on a set of used, they're going to save a set. I don't know if they think they've got the outright pace for pole today, so they're already looking ahead. And just while we're talking about Graham, this is a guy who's been on the podium.
Oh, Grosjean off. And bounces his way back onto the track. Sorry to jump in there, Jack. But Grosjean was pushing hard and pushed too far and too deep on the exit of the chicane.
Quite a bit of grass on the right front leading edge of the floor there. There's a lot of downforce that's produced Hopefully that flies off. Grosjean flying right in to start the lap.
And that was a push lap of him. That was the second lap out there, and that, I believe, was a sticker set.
Graham Rahal, meanwhile, is absolutely punching out there on track. Looking very nice as things stand at the moment.
Yeah, just too much speed for Grosjean through turn 9, picked up the understeer, and as soon as you drop that left front, you're just along for the ride.
Everything was good till right here. Boom! Little kicker. I think the wing's going to be okay. Hopefully the floor is okay. You can see the massive piece of turf hanging on that leading edge. Palou, sticker reds. This will be tough to beat, this guy with fresh tires.
Potentially a one and done for everybody then. So the order of the day is find track space. Marcus Armstrong's coming up behind Alex Palou. I don't know if that's to try and pass him or to try and get a little bit of a tow. Little bit of a slipstream out there. Everybody else nicely spaced, finding their place to have a proper run at this.
Palou's just building temperature, and now he'll get things wound up here as he exits the Museum corner. Minute 50 to go, so he can get 2 laps if he wants them, but I don't know if he'll need it. I don't know if he's got fuel for it.
Guys, the other thing I'm looking at on the data screen here, looks like Kyle Kirkwood is out there on a used set as well, saving that. Sorry, did we already mention that?
We did.
Okay.
We mention it again because it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Saving that set for the race could be a huge advantage tomorrow.
Romain Grosjean up to second, 106.8. That is a second off his own pole record around this circuit as Alex Palou lays down the hammer and lays down a lap.
That was wickedly decisive into turn 1. Absolute killer hands at work here.
The advantage clear already, 3/10 up, and we're not even a third of the way through the lap.
But Armstrong keeping pace, guys. He is doing a great job. He's right behind Palou on the racetrack. Lost a little bit there in turn 5. Well, the gap continues to grow in the favor of Alex Palou.
Look at that, up 4/10 almost at the exit of the Museum corner. Could this be a track record?
105.8 is the record. It's held by Romain Grosjean and has been for a few years now. But the man who keeps breaking the records, who keeps setting his own, Alex Palou, over the line. It's a 106.2.
Armstrong with a really tidy lap goes second. Kirkwood way off track, wide. That could cost him. He goes 4th.
And it sounded like he backed off, guys. I think he had one and done.
He had to, because he was about to send it off the road.
No, I'm saying he's not doing another lap, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
In the pits.
Palou isn't done. He was pushing. He made up time. I think he's starting to back off now as Malukas jumps up to second place. It's Palou from Malukas. We sit on board with Rahal. Up to third.
Great lap from Graham Rahal on used reds.
Lovely job from Graham Rahal. Alex Palou's dropped back 2/10 off now. But it looks like it's going to be another pole. And for 2026, another pole sitter.
I'm surprised he's even keeping his foot in it. Palou can crack the throttle now. This is the only guy behind him on the racetrack, and he's 3.5 tenths away from threatening that pole position.
Might have a chance, though, to get himself inside row 2. Armstrong over the hill. Here's the line.
It's not enough. So it will be Palou on pole once again. A 4th different pole sitter in 2026. The front row will be Palou and Malukas. The second row, Rahal and Armstrong, with Kyle Kirkwood, his best start of the season in 5th. But this is where it went wrong, and it could have been so much worse.
Had a bit of a tank slapper on the entry there to the left-hander, and that could have been McLaughlin bad.
That was
off track, turn 12.
That was not
wiggle.
a bit of a tank slapper. That was a massive. He hit too much of that apex curb, upset the back of the race car in that part of the racetrack at that speed. Enormous.
Deja vu all over again. Alex Palou on pole here last year, on pole here once again. His lap time a second faster than he went last year. 107.2 in 2025, 106.2 in 2026. The driver of the number 10 DHL Honda does it again. And you know what? He kind of needed it. Yes, he's second in the championship. And not that far off, 26 points off the championship lead. But coming back to a circuit on which he really, truly announced himself in IndyCar, a circuit that he has always loved, a circuit on which he has always run well. No better time, no better place to get his first NTT P1 award of 2026. And he's standing by with Kevin Lee.
I have something for you there. The hat for the NTT P1 award, first of the year, lucky number 13. How critical is it to start from the point for this race?
Number 13 what?
Pole in your career.
Really? Yeah. Oh, that's not a good number. Anyway, it's hopefully we can change that tomorrow. But honestly, one of the best cars I've driven. This morning, I already felt the car was really, really good, really well balanced. I don't know. I guess not everybody was on brand new alternates, but we just wanted to start up front, capitalize on a really good car that we had today and see for tomorrow. But really happy to get our first pole of the year.
I think Kirkwood and Ray Hall went with used in this round. Can you make a used set last for a full stint tomorrow?
I guess we'll see. That's what we are hoping for. Thank you.
Alex Palou leads the field to green tomorrow from Alabama. Jack.
Graham, you were flying, dude. You're the only person who used the used stuff. That's got to put you in a really good position for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was the only, but yeah, I mean, you know, I felt like we were in hunt. I was glad to make it through because I didn't drive very good in Q2, to be honest. So I felt like I gave away a 10th or two, so to squeak in was good. But for Fifth Third Bank, for Honda, for all of our partners to just, like, I don't know, have a good result. We know we can race well here, so qualifying is gonna help a lot. So yeah, I was surprised they used news though. I mean, I guess I'm not here all that often, so we don't really know the strategy too much, but I'm a little surprised that they all went for new there.
And you've been on the podium multiple times here. What is it about this racetrack you love so much?
It's just a wonderful place, man. I mean, you know that. And the grip this weekend, whatever the tire Firestone brought, whatever it is, it's faster than hell. So it's been a lot of fun. It's physical. Tomorrow's going to be a bruiser, and hopefully we can take the battle to him. Obviously with Alex, I mean, I don't know. We're all wondering the same thing, but hopefully we can take it to him. And I know, you know, we've had a chance to win here before, so hopefully we can make it happen. Have good tire day and tire life, and we got better tires than they do for sure. So we'll see.
All right, man. Have a great day tomorrow, Kevin.
David Malukas is going to start on the front row next to Alex Palou. You satisfied with this? Was this what was available?
Satisfied for sure, but I think it still hurts because we definitely could have gone for the pole. I mean, it was so close between me, Palou, and Kirkwood, especially on that fast 12. I couldn't believe how tight it was. But I mean, overall, we did good. I made a call at the end there on the fast 6, and we definitely overstepped it on the car, and I thought it might aggressive and make the push on the setup. Streak, and really happy that we could start on that front row and keep this consistency that we've had in 2026 going.
David Malukas goes for his first win from the front row tomorrow.
So it's Palou from Malukas. Malukas' previous best start here at Barber was 17th. He now starts at second place on the front row alongside Alex Palou.
Great mix of teams there in the top 6. Santino Ferrucci doing a great job to bring his AJ Foyt machine up into the mix. He'll start 7th.
And now Scott Dixon, the man who's been better around here than any other racetrack in his career, further down than he would have wanted. Nice recovery from Scott McLaughlin. Rinus VeeKay, a bit of a surprise to be not further up the field.
Towards the back of the field, Will Power with that big crash right at the start of the session alongside Indy Next champion Dennis Hauger. Stingray Rob thrown all the way to the back for holding up Roman Grosjean. But this man, your reigning champion, on the pole, his first of 2026. Last year here, he took the pole, he took the win with the fastest race lap. Something tells me tomorrow might be a little bit harder for him. Your warm-up comes your way 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow on FS2. Indy Next races tomorrow 11 a.m. Eastern on FS1. And we will have the Children's of Alabama Grand Prix tomorrow live on Fox. Next on FS1, Major League Baseball Twins at Orioles. Stay tuned for that. We cannot wait to bring you this race tomorrow. Palou starts from the pole, but he's got a huge job ahead of him to take this victory home.